Get ready for UFC Fight Night and an explosive showdown between Ryan Spann and Nikita Krylov. Both fighters are known for having their own unique skill sets, and it's anyone's guess who will come out on top. Get ready for an epic battle as these two warriors clash in the octagon. And if you're enjoying the content and want to stay up to date with the latest videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, let's get into it. Hope everybody's doing well. UFC Fight Night, Krylov vs. Spann fight predictions. So this card is on Saturday, February 25th, 2023 at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So first fight of the night is Joe Solecki versus Carl Deaton. This was actually a replacement fight. Joe Solecki was supposed to fight on a different card, I believe, and he got moved to this card. So he is fighting Carl Deaton. I don't know much about this guy. I know Joe Solecki's a really good grappler. He's fought quite a few guys in the UFC now. I believe he beat Jim Miller. But let's check out Carl Deaton. So this guy, he actually has a good record. Firstly, 17-5. It's really a lot of fights. So 22 pro fights. I did notice, yeah, he has a few losses here. Fought in the PFL. For one fight, lost a split decision, and then he's won his last two fights. 7-8 was his last win. That's not anything crazy. Justin James used to fight in the UFC, so that's a pretty good win. That being said, what weight class are they in here? Lightweight. Yeah, Justin James is a smaller lightweight. Let's see here. So, I mean, he's on a 2-fight win streak. Fought in PFL. Looks like most of his wins are kind of submissions and KOs, kind of like a mix. With that being said, Joe Solecki is a grinder on the ground. So let's just check out who he's. Yeah, his last loss was to Jared Gordon by split decision. Jared Gordon's really good, so that's pretty impressive. Other than that, he's won, beat Matt Wyman, Austin Hubbard, Jim Miller, and Alex Da Silva, all in UFC. Alex Da Silva's got a really good record as well. And honestly, yeah, for this one, I see Joe Solecki is a tough fight for anybody. He's just going to grapple you like the whole fight and try and tap you out, get you on the ground. So for this one, I'm going to pick Joe Solecki. Not sure how he gets it done. I haven't seen enough of the other guy to know what his strengths and weaknesses are. So for this one, Joe Solecki. And next we have Erick Gonzalez versus Trevor Peek. Okay, so this was a replacement fight. He was originally supposed to fight Darius Flowers, Erick Gonzalez. Flowers withdrew. Doesn't give us a reason, but Erick Gonzalez, he has had 2 fights in the UFC, I believe. Trevor Peek, this will be his first fight he fought on the Contender Series. I watched his Contender Series fight. Let's just pull it up here. So he fought this guy here, Erick Gonzalez, or sorry, I fought Malik Lewis, who was a lot bigger than him. And Malik Lewis like had him in trouble in the first round. Like Malik Lewis, like if you scored it as like a UFC round, it could have been a 10-8 round. Malik Lewis like had him hurt a couple times, throwing the whole kitchen sink at him, and he weathered the storm. And then second round, Malik Lewis he's a lot bigger. You can tell he probably cuts a lot of weight to make lightweight. So he was gassed after the first round. And then this guy here just took him down and just kind of just beat him up with some ground and pound. And they stopped the fight. So first round, he was getting smashed. He was throwing some stuff really telegraphed, I noticed. So like very obvious when he was going to throw certain strikes. Erick Gonzalez, he just lost to Jim Miller, I believe. And yeah, so he lost to Jim Miller actually in 2021 and then lost to Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney in the first round can be a lot to deal with when he fights like that. He could be like a really good fighter in the first round, Terrence McKinney. And that's kind of what we've seen there. He just came in, didn't really give this guy any respect, and just kind of took advantage of him and beat him up. So Jim Miller, I watched that fight as well, and he did actually clip Jim Miller a couple times. That being said, in the second round, Jim Miller he kind of walked into overhand left from Jim Miller. So he kind of got a little bit comfortable, I think, because he hurt Jim in the first round a little bit. And then he started getting a little aggressive, kind of dropped his hand and his rear hand, and then he got hit with an overhand left. So, but he was, if he doesn't play over aggressive, like walk in with his hands down, he looked a little bit more crisp than this Trevor Peek guy, to be honest. On the feet, he looked a lot better. This guy here was a lot more durable, it seemed like. But I think if Erick Gonzalez actually takes his time and fights Trevor Peek a lot smarter, this might be the first one that he wins inside of the UFC. But let's just look at this guy's other fight. So he did beat Kama Worthy, who's pretty good. He fought in the UFC as well, by KO in the first round. I was gonna pick Erick Gonzalez for this fight, but I might actually sway towards, just because he did beat Kama Worthy too, is pretty good. Malik Lewis. This guy was really good. He looked really good. He just gassed out, to be honest. But I wasn't super impressed with this guy's offensive skills. I was more impressed with his durability. So I don't know. I think he might just have the determination to win. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick Trevor Peek for this one. I originally had Erick Gonzalez pick, but I'm gonna switch my pick on this one, and it's gonna be Trevor Peek. I'm gonna go with. I just think he's super durable. I think he finds a way to win. Clearly, he's undefeated right now. I know he only has 7 fights, but okay. So, and stick around to the end of the video. I'm gonna share my fight of the night prediction. Some good fights on this card, some decent ones for a free card. Like this one here will be really good. Odi Osborne versus Charles Johnson. So Charles Johnson just fought last month. He looked really good against Jimmy Flick. I picked him to actually win that fight against Jimmy Flick. And he did. He smashed him in the first round. Jimmy Flick is very good on the ground, but if he can't get a submission, I feel like most people will beat him in that division that are more well-rounded. He's not the best on the feet, and you could clearly see that in that fight. Charles Johnson was kind of picking him apart, and then he actually finished him on the ground with ground and pound, I believe, from what I remember. This was last month. Yeah, and then he won a split decision to Zalgas, who's a beast as well. Lost to Muhammad Makayev, but I mean, this guy's beating everybody right now with his wrestling, and just super good wrestler, which is hard for anybody to beat. And so he's going to face Odi Osborne, whose style is more similar to his than Jimmy Flick's was. But with that being said, he beat CJ Vigaro, who's a pretty good striker. He beat Zaruk Adashev, who's a really good striker. He has a lot of length on this guy. He had a lot more reach. He's very long for the weight class. I know he's 5'7". Charles Johnson's also very long. Both these guys are pretty good strikers. Tyson Nam, though, did knock him out in the first round. Tyson Nam's a really good striker as well. And he also got finished by Manel Cape. So it seems like when he fights these really good strikers, like Manel Cape actually doesn't have a lot of reach, but he's probably one of the better strikers in the division. So it seems like when he fights these good strikers that are like, these guys are pretty experienced. Tyson Nam, Manel Cape, he loses. But when he fights these guys that are not on their level, like not as experienced, like Zaruk Adashev actually is a really experienced kickboxer, but he does give up a lot of reach. So I feel like he kind of caught him off guard, and he wasn't might not have been expecting to get caught by him. So with that being said, I'm going to lean towards Charles Johnson for this one. I think he's starting to really do well. He did just fight recently, and then the fight to August was only like 2-3 months ago as well. So I feel like he's really starting to get comfortable. He fought 3 times in 2022. So over the last year, he's fought 4 times. This will be his 5th fight in just over a year. That's a lot. And he's been looking really good. Even in this fight to Muhammad Mokaev, he just got out wrestled. It's not like he got completely beat up or anything. He just got out wrestled. So I'm gonna stick with Charles Johnson for this one. Okay, so next fight, Gabriella Fernandes versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. Okay, so this girl actually trains at a local gym in my city, so it's pretty cool. And so Gabriella Fernandes, I just watched one of her fights. I believe it was in LFA. She was actually very similar to Jasmine's last opponent, except she was a little bigger. She had a little more strength and a little less speed than the girl that Jasmine last fought. With that being said, she is on a 7-fight win streak. But some of these, like, they're kind of starting records, like 3-0, 3-0, 1-0, 10-9, more experienced, actually finished them. And then this was the one that I seen versus Caroline Martins. She looked pretty good. A lot of kicks, not as many punches. Punches were pretty good. She actually put her down with a punch, but it came out of breaking out of the clinch. She got her in the clinch and started kneeing her, kneed her in the face once, and then broke out of the clinch and landed a nice straight right and put this girl down. And then she ended up getting a guillotine choke in the second round. She did look like she was starting to get tired in the second round. Because like I said, she actually does really good at moving in and out. A lot of good movement, but she is bigger, like she is pretty big. So it seemed like it might have started to take its toll on her in the second round. She did get the finish. I didn't really get to see how she got into the later rounds. So yeah, Jasmine Jasudavicius, she lost to Natalia Silva. This girl's a little savage. She just knocked out another girl with a spinning back kick in the face. If you haven't seen this girl's last fight, you should watch that for sure. She's really good. She's very similar to Gabrielle Fernandes in the sense she's a good striker. She moves really quick, and she's just really hard to catch. Like she'll move in and out. She's very hard to hit clean, and she's constantly hitting you. A lot of action. This girl is similar to that, but not as good as at it. Like technically, I don't think. She is probably more powerful, but she's not as clean of a striker as Natalia Silva is. That's just my opinion on that. With that being said, Jasmine did go to decision with Natalia Silva. It was a rough fight for her. Natalia Silva is really good, so she did get beat up a little bit in that fight. But she didn't get finished like the last girl that she fought, like that Natalia Silva just beat. So I do give her credit for that. That's a tough fight. Before that, she beat Kay Hansen, and then she won her fight in Contender Series to a girl that was 8-2. So that's pretty good. This is going to be a tough fight. I see this fight probably going all 3 rounds regardless, either way, because Jasmine is really tough. I feel like, yeah, like this girl is going to try and play Gabriella Fernandes, going to try and play the same game that she did with her last fight. But the last fight, the girl tried to strike with her the whole time. I feel like Jasmine will try and mix it up between wrestling and striking. And I know she has been training at American Top Team with Joanna and stuff as well. So I feel like she is constantly trying to get better. I'm gonna go with Jasmine by decision on this one. I think she might be able to kind of put the pressure on this girl and grind her out in a decision. So that's my pick for that one. Then we have Nurullo Aliev versus Rafael Alves. So I watched this guy's fight on Contender Series. He just pretty much took the guy down, beat him up, just landed a bunch of ground and pound and got the finish. It wasn't anything crazy. Like, he didn't knock the guy out. He just overwhelmed him with strikes and the ref stopped it. Before that, bunch of decision wins. Very wrestling based from what I've seen. Very wrestling heavy. What they were saying on Contender Series was that he normally just holds people down, kind of controls them. So it didn't sound like he really goes for a lot of ground and pound, but I think he kind of wanted to make a statement on Contender Series. So he did that. He is fighting a guy with a lot of experience. He is 8-0, that other guy. But Rafael Alves is 20-11, so he's had 31 fights. The other guy's at 8. I know this guy has a lot of losses, but a lot of his losses come earlier in his career, as you can see, back in 2011. He's been fighting since 2007. He's really good at Muay Thai, really good at Jiu-Jitsu, a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, really good at Muay Thai. Definitely going to be a tougher fight than his last fight. It'll definitely be a guy with way more experience. I feel like the other guy kind of just laid on his back. He was kind of playing the Jiu-Jitsu game in his guard. That's kind of the thing about him. He might do the same, but this guy is a lot more explosive on the feet, a lot faster. And I think he's going to give Nurullo a lot more problems, to be honest. The only way I see Rafael Alves losing this fight is if he plays the jiu-jitsu game. And it's okay, I think, if he tries it in the first round for maybe half the round, if he gets taken down and he tries to submit Nurullo off of his back. But if he can't get it, he has to get back up to his feet and get it into his realm, because he's a really good striker as well. He's striking with Drew Dober, who's no slouch, and he looked really good. So Nurullo Aliev, even though he's 8-0, I am leaning towards Rafael Alves. Sometimes on the feet, Rafael Alves, his downfall, which could get him taken down, is that he does take a lot of risks, but that's what makes him super exciting to watch as well. But he could get taken down easier because of that. So I could see Nurullo Aliev, if he's winning, he has to take him down and kind of just ground and pound him and try and control him, which I think is going to be a lot harder to do with this guy's jiu-jitsu level. And with his striking and his movement, he moves super well. So I don't think he's going to be super easy to take down. Nurullo's going to have to pressure him a lot to make it happen and try and cut off the cage and really pin him against the fence and then get him up against the fence and try and take him down that way. I don't think it's going to be easy for Nurullo Aliev. And he looks way stronger just by looks. It's not everything all the time. And technique is ultimate over power. So I'm going to go for Rafael Alves on this one, guys. But that's kind of how I see it going. Pop-ups are crazy on here. Okay. So next fight, Jose Johnson versus Garnett or Garrett Armfield. So Jose Johnson, I seen him fight on Contender Series. He had a three round fight, constant action. Even like when he was getting taken down, he was on his back, constantly throwing up submissions, moving, trying to get back to his feet. A lot of times he was kind of playing both. Like he would try and submit and he'd try and get back to his feet. Very long for the weight class, like 6 foot. He's super long, super active. It was pretty exciting to watch. The guy he was fighting was 10-0, I believe. Yeah, 10-0, and he was this guy was a grinder. This guy was just trying to get him down to the ground, was very obvious that this guy's game plan was to get him down to the ground and just beat him up. So before this guy, he fought another undefeated guy, triangle choked him, and then he beat this guy by punches. Lost in 2021 to Manny Martinez, who's a UFC fighter as well. Not sure if he's still in the UFC or if he got cut, but he is still. He lost to a UFC guy, and this is another UFC guy he lost to. So his two losses since 2018 have been to UFC opponents. So that being said, he does have a lot of experience, and a lot of his losses kind of came early in his career as well. Like started off with two losses. So Garrett Armfield, this guy here fought David Onama, who's a really good fighter actually. And then Stephen Graham won 3 to get signed to the UFC. Lost to Mateo Vogel, who's another Canadian guy, who's really good. So then lost to Ronnie Lawrence, the guy who's also in the UFC. So his 3 losses are to really good competition. Now with that being said, I liked how this guy fought. He's very active. He's very long. So I'm gonna go with Jose Johnson on this one. But I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way. But I'm gonna pick Jose Johnson. Okay. So let me know in the comment what fight you guys are most excited for. Also, I'm going to be releasing another video on John Jones versus Cyril Gane within the next few days. So be watching out for that as well. So Hailey Cowan versus Ailin Perez. So this one's a tough one to pick. So Ailin Perez fought Stephanie Egger in her UFC debut, featherweight. She was definitely very short for featherweight. She came out very aggressive, but it's not always the best thing. It's like at least she wasn't too tentative. I'd rather see her go for it. But Stephanie Egger's only loss in the UFC was to somebody pretty good, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Mayra Silva, who's really good. Other than that, or no, sorry, she lost to Tracy Cortez as well. So these girls are both pretty good. So Stephanie Egger beat Ailin Perez. Ailin Perez, she came out, she looked pretty good on the feet. She actually landed a nice spinning back fist. The problem was when she landed something nice, she got too aggressive, and then she'd either get like taken down or Stephanie Egger would just like she just kind of seemed a little inexperienced when she got somebody like she just got too aggressive. She kind of seemed a little inexperienced there. Hailey Cowan, she looked pretty decent on her Contender Series fight. Yeah, she looked pretty good. She had a really nice elbow against the cage, cut her open. She was a little more patient, it seemed like. She fought pretty well. I think if she fights smart, she should be able to beat Ailin Perez. But with that being said, she hasn't really fought a lot of tough competition either, except for like her last fight on Contender Series, which she won by split decision. So Ailin Perez has fought Stephanie Egger, and she actually looked pretty good. So I wouldn't be surprised if she wins either. It's just really hard for me to say because I have only seen them each have one fight. But I'm gonna lean towards Hailey Cowan. She was pretty big for the weight class too. She was a lot more patient, it seemed like, but she was still active. So I think she's gonna get it done. Okay. Then we have Jordan Leavitt versus Victor Martinez. Once again, this one was really hard for me to pick. I watched Victor Martinez fight on Contender Series. Super close. It wasn't crazy or anything. It's definitely a shorter lightweight. But he is on quite the win streak. So he's on 7-fight win streak. And he won this Contender Series fight by unanimous decision. So Dana must have liked what he saw, and he signed him. And Jordan Leavitt just lost to Patty, I believe. This is his last fight. Yeah. Before that, he was on a 2-fight win streak. Lost to Claudio Puelles, who's a really good grappler. So he lost to two pretty good grapplers, even though he is a grappler himself. So for this one here, I'm going to I picked Jordan Leavitt. So I think it's because I feel like he's just going to try and grapple him against the cage. If the other guy can stop his grappling, he could probably beat up Jordan Leavitt on the feet. But I also I wasn't blown away by the other guy's stand-up. It was good, but it wasn't enough to where I feel like he'll dominate Jordan Leavitt. So I'm gonna pick Jordan Leavitt to win this one. I think he has a better chance of getting it done. Okay. So now we have Tatiana Suarez versus Montana Delarosa. It's the return of Tatiana Suarez. She's been out for a long time. I think she's had some injuries. This girl's really good. She was fighting at strawweight before. I believe this at 125, this fight. Her last fight was against Nina Nunes. She beat Carla Esparza, Alexa Grasso, and Vivian Pereira. And then she won the Ultimate Fighter as well. So she is really good. Really good wrestler. Nobody's been able to stop her yet. Nina Nunes, this was when Nina Nunes was doing really well. I mean, she's retired now. But Carla Esparza is a good win. Most people don't finish her, so that's a solid win right there. Alexa Grasso, solid win. Rear naked choke in the first round. So, and she beat Vivian Pereira, who's 13-0. This girl's a beast. And we have Montana Delarosa, who is 12-7. So definitely on paper, doesn't look nearly as good. She did beat Ariane Lipsky, who's pretty good. But since then, she's only had one fight since mid-2021. So almost 2 years. She only had one fight against Macy Barber, who she lost by decision. I do feel like Tatiana Suarez is a lot better than Macy Barber. So for this one, I'm going to have to pick Tatiana Suarez to win. The only thing that I'm worried about with her is how long she's been out. She hasn't fought since 2019. So it's literally almost 4 years since she's fought. That'll be the biggest. If Montana Delarosa makes this a close fight, or if she wins, I feel like a big part of it is this girl's time off. So with that being said, though, I'm going to pick Tatiana Suarez to win this. Okay, so then we have the two Canadian boys fighting. Mike Malott versus Yohan Lainesse. Okay, so Mike Malott, he has quite a few finishes, and he actually had a long layoff. He took a lot of time off to do coaching, and then now he is specifically getting back into the UFC. So yeah, he is a beast. His only loss was to Hakeem Dawodu, who's currently in the UFC back in 2014. I think 2017 he fought, and then since then, and then he took a few years off, and then he got back at it, fought on CFFC, beat Solomon Renfro. This was Solomon Renfro actually was landing some good shots in this fight. I did see this one, and then he actually timed Solomon Renfro through a rear low kick, and he timed it perfectly and hit him with a nice it was either a right straight or a rear hook, and it just put him down. Then he jumped on his back and just sunk in a rear naked choke super quick, tapped him out. So that was impressive. Szymon Samaczewski This was on Contender Series. Really, this guy's a younger guy. Came in undefeated though, another undefeated guy, so two undefeated guys in a row, and he put him out in like 40 seconds. Just sunk in such a deep guillotine choke that there was no way this guy was going to get out of it, to be honest. And yeah, it was beautiful. So got that, and then Mickey Gall, he just KO'd in the first round. Mickey Gall came in super aggressive, and he just landed like a nice right straight. I think he was slipping inside of Mickey Gall's jab, so he would slip inside as he would throw a straight cross. He landed the straight cross and landed a really nice tight lead left hook, and just put him down. Like, it was really nice combination. Simple, fundamental, but the timing on it was perfect. So, and then he did have this grappling match against Trevor Giles, which he won. So yeah, I mean, he's on a 3-fight win streak, or sorry, 4-fight win streak, but three as since he's been back. So Yohan Lainesse, he's from Quebec, another Canadian guy. So trains at Brazilian top team. I believe he's on a 1-fight win streak. Yeah, he lost to Gabe Green by punches. Gabe Green is pretty good though. Other than that, he's won all of his other fights. He's definitely more of a striker. As you can see here, he's got a lot of KOs or decisions. There's actually 0 submissions on his resume. So the thing is, Mike Malott is definitely more well-rounded, I feel like. Yohan definitely has to keep this on the feet. He's a big guy, like, he's thick. I feel like he might gas a little more, but with that being said, Mike Malott has finished all of his opponents in the first round. So it's hard for me to know how his gas tank is too. With that being said, I think Mike Malott has more tools to win. If he can get him down, I think the fight's over for sure. Mike Mallett's really good on the ground. He's good on the feet as well. I feel like the fight will be pretty competitive on the feet. As the rounds go later, I'm not sure about get the gas tank because, like I said, he finishes all of his fights quick. With that being said, I think Mike Malott just has more tools to win. If he wants to wrestle him, take him down, beat him on the ground. Definitely on the ground, I feel like Malott will win. On the feet, I feel like it'll be more competitive, but overall, I have to lean towards Mike Malott. I just think he has too many tools to win. So I think it'll be a good fight, though. Actually, really excited for that fight. And so next would be Augusto Sakai versus Don'Tale Mayes, heavyweight. So Augusto Sakai, he's been on a really tough streak, but they also put him against like the top 5-10 guys, to be honest. So let's check it out. So, like, look at who he's fought. So he lost to Alistair Overeem, round 5, ground and pound. That's a tough fight. Like, Overeem's not an easy fight for anybody. Super experienced with like over 60 fights, bunch of kickboxing fights. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, another tough fight, super good striker. Tai Tuivasa, another tough fight, guy that knocks out a lot of people. Sergey Spivak, another tough fight, another guy that'll just grapple you, and he's smashing everybody right now. So arguably, he beat, like, some of these guys were top 5, top 10, and that's all of his last 4 losses. Before that, he literally won on Contender Series by knockout, then beat Chase Sherman in his debut, split decision over Arlovsky, beat Marcin Tybura by punches, and then a split decision over Blagoy Ivanov. So he is 4-4 in the UFC, but has quite a bit of UFC experience, and he is really good still. So don't let these 4 losses kid you about this guy. He's really good. So Don'Tale Mayes, he is 9-4. So let's see who he's lost. So he lost this fight by split decision, I believe, but they ruled it as a no contest. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe this guy tested positive for some banned substance, and that's why it's now ruled a no contest. So I think he lost this by decision, but that is what happened there, I believe. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So he beat Roque Martinez beat Josh Parisian, who's pretty good. And then he lost to Rodrigo Nascimento, and he lost to Cyril Gahn, who's a beast. Won his Contender Series fight. Rodrigo Nascimento is pretty good. That being said, I feel like Augusto Sakai might be a little too much for him, so I'm gonna go with Augusto Sakai on this one. I think this will be the easiest fight that Augusto Sakai has had since his last win, which was in 2020. So I do believe that Augusto Sakai will win this fight, even though he's on a 4-fight losing streak. If not, if he doesn't beat Dontal Mays, he'll probably get cut, honestly, because this should be the one fight that he does win. So, okay. So, Andre Muniz versus Brendan Allen. This will be a really good one. Both more definitely strengths are grappling for both guys. Andre Muniz, this guy's got a nasty armbar. The way he does his armbar is insane. He's broken a couple people's arms with it now, I believe. Ronaldo Souza, yeah, broke his arm with it, with that inverted armbar. Thing's nasty. A lot of submissions. So, like you can clearly see that's his strength, his jiu-jitsu. He is on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-fight win streak. So he hasn't lost since 2016, which he got KO'd, but that's a long time ago. It's about 7 years ago. So Brendan Allen, let's see here. So his last loss was to Chris Curtis, was on the feet, got finished, right? So his strength, like he's got okay striking. Both these guys are more grapplers. They're not like the best strikers, but they can hang on the feet still. Obviously, everybody in the UFC can hang, but their definitely strengths are their grappling, like rear naked choke win, heel hook, like ground and pound. So it's on the ground, right? Like rear naked choke, like it's a lot of ground wins, right? Like all rear naked chokes. It's specifically mostly rear naked chokes. So that is clearly his strength. With that being said, I feel like Andre Muniz is the better grappler of the two. Even though he is Brendan Allen still is really good. I feel like Andre Muniz should have the edge in this fight. He's really good. So but that's why it's interesting. Like I don't know who is going to be the better grappler, but I feel like it'll be Andre Muniz. This guy's really good. So is Brendan Allen, but it's an interesting fight. Definitely two grapplers. So it's always nice when two really good grapplers fight. As long as I'm hoping they actually hit the mat. Like not the best when they end up striking the whole time. It's like I want to see you guys where you're really good and see which one of you guys are better at it with strikes involved. So I'm going to pick Andre Muniz for this one. Okay, and then that takes us to the main event. So Ryan Spann versus Nikita Krylov. So Nikita Krylov, I believe, just won against a decision against, what's his name? Vulcan. I always forget his name. And then he crushed Alexander Gustafsson, but he just came back after a long time, got overwhelmed. For that, lost to Paul Craig, a triangle choke first round. Magomed Ankalaev, who's a beast, lost by decision, which is pretty impressive. Beat Johnny Walker. So he has his ups and downs. He loses, he wins, he loses, he wins. 2 losses, 2 wins. So he is on a 2-fight win streak. That being said, Ryan Spann, I believe, is on a 2-fight win streak as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And then he lost to Anthony Smith in the first round, who's really good. Ryan Spann is massive for this weight class, firstly. I want to say that. This power jab that he used against Dominic Reyes, that was insane. Like this knockout was crazy. And then Ion Cutelaba guillotined him in the first round. Ion Cutelaba looked super small compared to him. Even Dominic Reyes, who's pretty big, he looks super small at light heavyweight. It's super weird when you got like this guy here. He's 6'5". He could probably fight a heavyweight. I wonder how much weight he actually cuts. Like I feel like he probably walks around 245, 250, so he could easily fight at heavyweight. Guarantee you, he's huge. When he gets in the ring, he looks so much bigger than his opponents, and he's very good on the feet, like very good striker, and just not even like necessarily the best technical striker. Like he is good, but it's more his power. Like when he hits people, you can tell it's a lot. Um, for this one, guys, I honestly think he is gonna hurt Nikita Krylov. Uh, if Nikita Krylov can get this done, I think that's a huge win because I think this guy is going to be giving people some issues. I mean, until he starts hitting like top 5, top 10. What's he currently 9 best MMA light heavyweight fighter? So, I mean, until he starts hitting like the top 5, I feel like he's going to definitely be giving people issues. Nikita Krylov, so yeah, like he's currently ranked number 7. I feel like if you can get past Nikita Krylov, then he's going to start getting some tougher matchups. So, all right, guys. So yeah, for that one, I'm definitely picking Ryan Spann, and then I'm gonna choose my fight of the night now. So some good fights on this card. I'm really looking forward to this one. Really looking forward to Malott versus Yohan. Obviously, I'm a Canadian guy, so I'm looking forward to see who wins. I'm also looking forward to this for that reason as well. But for as far as excitement, this one I'm pretty excited for as well. Rafael Alves versus Nurullo Aliev. I think it would be really cool if Rafael Alves can actually stop this guy's takedowns and really, he's. I feel like he should be able to get it done. So, Charles Johnson versus Odie Osborne. Mike Malott versus my fight of the night would probably come down to either this one, Malott versus Yohan, or Odie Osborne versus Charles Johnson. So I'm gonna pick Mike Malott versus Yohan Lainesse. I feel like this might be the fight of the night. Okay, guys. So thanks for watching. If you're still around, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, and stay tuned for more fight prediction videos. Thanks.